live with Kelly and Mark into an unforgettable moment when it swooped in to perch on the outdoor camera, partially blocking the live shot. As the hosts Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, along with their crew, returned from commercial, the unexpected guest made its presence known, and everyone reacted in real time. The day had been rolling along with its usual mix of banter, segments, and planned interviews. Just after the break, the show returned with a sweeping shot of the New York City skyline, the view from the outdoor camera, which is a staple visual for the program. But this time something was off. A wing, feathers, something large and living obstructed part of the frame. Mark Consuelos did a double take. "Is that a hawk?" he asked, pointing toward the monitor as the camera lens showed feathered tail and talons hooking onto the rig. The audience murmured. Crew members off-screen shifted into action. Producer Michael Gelman confirmed what everyone was seeing. Yes, the outdoor camera was hosting an avian visitor. It turned out to be a red-tailed hawk, large, majestic, and extraordinarily calm considering the commotion it had just caused. The bird had alighted during the commercial break and stayed, choosing the camera's housing as its perch. It offered no apology, no pretense, just pure, unplanned nature. Kelly Ripa's reaction was immediate and genuine. She gazed at the monitor in awe. "This is my kind of TV," she said, grinning. "I could watch this for hours." Mark Consuelos, likewise taken aback, allowed a moment of delight, declaring, "This is nature." The hosts and audience weren't just amused. There was a collective sense of wonder, as though the everyday barrier between studio and wildlife had cracked open, even if just for a moment. As the hawk rustled and shifted, the view occasionally trembled, wings brushing against the camera's frame. The partial obstruction made for imperfect visuals, but it also felt strangely poetic, an unscripted reminder of how fragile and beautiful live television and life itself can be. Despite the distraction, the show rolled with it. After a brief pause for laughter and commentary, the hosts decided to reset, preparing for their scheduled guest, actress Joanne Froggatt. But the lingering image of the hawk remained imprinted, alone, perched before a backdrop of skyscrapers, witness to the clash between the urban and the wild. Moments like this draw attention not just for their rarity, but for what they reveal. Television, especially live daytime TV, is all about planning, precision, and performance. Cameras are positioned to avoid glare, lights are adjusted to avoid shadow, hosts rehearse talking points. When a hawk commandeers your camera, none of that matters. It's a reminder that control is sometimes just an illusion. Nature has its own timing and agenda. For Ripa and Consuelos, both longtime figures in daytime television, the incident underscored something that has become increasingly rare in media, the unpredictable magic of real life. The swooping falcon, or in this case hawk, presence shattered the polished veneer for a moment, substituting script with spontaneity, each rustle of feather a drumbeat of authenticity. Viewers watching at home got to experience it too. Social media lit up almost immediately, clips, GIFs, screen captures. Conversations popped up about how majestic birds like that are, about wildlife in cities, about moments that remind us of the world beyond our screens. And beyond the laughs and the shared, did you see that? There was a kind of soft gratitude for the reminder that even in our busiest, most composed moments, nature can reach in. One detail people noticed. Prior to the hawk's appearance, Kelly had been talking about slugs, her distaste, the mess they leave, the way life's smallest creatures can disrupt a perfect walk or evening. The contrast between her disgust for slimy terrestrial creatures and her awe for something as wild and airborne as a hawk struck many as ironic, or at least poetic. Then there was the anecdote Kelly shared about her grandfather and fireflies. Stories from childhood about catching fireflies, watching their lights, carrying the glow of tiny beings in your hands. That memory, juxtaposed against the sudden appearance of a hawk in mid-broadcast, wove a thread, how from childhood to adulthood we oscillate between fear, disgust, wonder, amusement. The hawk was a punctuation mark in that thread, a moment of elevated awareness. Technically, the production team handled it well. Camera operators gave space, the hosts didn't flinch. Though some adjustments were made, the show didn't scramble or panic. Instead, they embraced it. Interviews can be rescheduled, segments can be shifted. But a live hawk on your camera? That's gold for live television. It's unscripted, raw, and crucially real. It also raises interesting questions about wildlife in urban environments. Hawks, falcons, other birds of prey are increasingly seen in cities. Tall buildings, ledges, the availability of prey in parks and backyards, all these make cities viable habitats. Sometimes they nest in unexpected locations. This incident becomes more than just a funny clip. It becomes part of a larger story about how humans and wildlife share spaces, adapt, intrude, tolerate one another. At the end of the segment, with Joe and Froggett's interview queued up, Kelly and Mark ushered the show back into its scripted flow. But the episode had already been transformed. It was no longer just another Live with Kelly and Mark episode. It was an episode marked by surprise, a hawk in the frame, the interruption of nature in the gears of showbiz. Viewers, hosts, producers all witnessed something unscheduled, unfiltered. The public reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. People have expressed appreciation for how gracefully the hosts and crew responded. Some said it made their morning, a reminder that even when the world feels overscheduled, over-controlled, there can still be wonder. Others posted videos, tagging wildlife conservation groups, pointing out how majestic the bird looked, how its behavior was typical of hawks that use perches to survey territory, how resilient urban wildlife can be. In the grand scheme of things, it's a small moment, a bird on a camera. But sometimes small moments carry big weight. This incident serves as a microcosm of what live television can achieve: immediacy, vulnerability, connection. It's not polished. It's not perfect. It's alive. In a world increasingly mediated by screens and schedules, perhaps that's what makes this kind of interruption not just entertaining, but meaningful. Because for a few seconds, before the reset, viewers weren't just watching hosts, they were watching the natural world asserting itself. And in that, there was a kind of humility. A reminder, nature doesn't need permission. It shows up. At the close of the show, Kelly reflected aloud that moments like these are rare, and that's what makes them special. Mark nodded, still visibly struck by the unexpected visitor, saying that such surprises are why live TV continues to hold a special place in people's routines. For a moment, cameras paused their mechanical pulse, scripts dropped their weight, and a hawk got to perch at the heart of it all. It's an image that will stick. A hawk perched amid the hum of camera motors and crew whispers, New York City rising in the background, hosts smiling in awe, and viewers reminded that live still means live in every sense.